An Emerging Trend, Role-Playing Games in the Classroom by Philip Thompson. So in this presentation, I'm going to discuss an emerging trend in education, one that hasn't seen a lot of popularity yet, but has definitely seen some growth in recent years. I'm talking about role-playing games in the classroom. So before we get into it though, I want you to imagine this setting. You come to a fork in the road. To the right you see a classroom. Simple setting, desks looking forward at a chalkboard. In front of the chalkboard, a teacher stands and drones on in a dull, monotonous voice as the children struggle to keep their eyelids from meeting. To the left side, you see a cave that goes deep into the mountainside. Far back in the cave, there seems to be a strange glow, almost like the burning of embers, and you swear you hear a low, rumbling sound fading in and out. Welcome to the exciting world of classroom role-playing games, where your class can be transformed into a world of adventure and magic. So, the first question we have to ask is, what is a role-playing game? Role-playing games, abbreviated to RPGs, are a communal narrative experience in which everyone involved works cooperatively, guided by a dungeon master, or a DM, in order to create an immersive story and world. This world can take any form, from futuristic sci-fi adventures to facing off against dragons with magical powers. Part of what makes these experiences so great is that by putting yourself in the shoes of the story's adventurers, or role-playing, the world becomes immersive and begins to feel real. You're creating a story, and everyone involved feels like they are part of telling that story. Many classrooms already use role-playing to minor extents, with students acting out passages from stories that they read, but in this setting, you get to help create the story. So the next question is, why would we use Dungeons & Dragons or D&D in the classroom? So in talking about role-playing games, D&D is by far the most popular role-playing game and generally considered to be the one that really started the tradition of role-playing games. The game has been around for a long time, but only recently has it seen use in a classroom setting. With the advancement of digital technologies, especially in this past year with COVID, some of the tools needed to manage your D&D campaign within this kind of setting have become more readily available. And with these tools available, the question becomes, why would we use D&D in our classroom? First of all, Dungeons & Dragons helps with math. All of that dice rolling and calculating your attack and armor scores can go a long ways towards helping just practice those basic arithmetic skills that are foundational to our mathematics education. Additionally, D&D improves creativity and critical thinking skills. The problem-solving skills that are required to solve puzzles and find the best way to overcome obstacles within an adventure translate directly into real-world problem-solving skills. Even just simple decisions that your students' characters make involve them thinking about the consequences of what those actions may be. Additionally, Dungeons & Dragons helps to develop social-emotional learning. In an article from collegeboard.org, one teacher explained that there is an untapped market for D&D as a scaffold for social-emotional work. When students place themselves into the role of their characters, it helps them to examine things from a different viewpoint. This helps them to develop compassion and empathy, while also helping to process complex emotions. Various studies have shown that Dungeons & Dragons actually has a very positive effect on mental health. D&D also teaches responsibility, teamwork, and consequences for your actions. The Dungeon Master can choose what aspects of the story they want to emphasize, so you can shape it to meet the needs of your students. But a D&D adventure can be a great way to teach students to collaborate and work as a team, while also helping them to learn that their actions have consequences. Your character decides they want to throw a bowl of hot soup into the waiter's face, the guards might throw your character in jail. Your students get to learn about the consequences of their actions without having to actually get into any real-world trouble. Finally, D&D can be incorporated into nearly any subject matter. Through the creative use of storytelling, teachers can craft an adventure that ties into nearly any subject, collecting materials in a dungeon for an alchemy lesson in your chemistry class, reliving major battles throughout history, needing to select the right fractions to solve a puzzle in the Mad Wizard's laboratory, or immersing yourself in the world of a novel that you're reading as a classroom. The possibilities are only limited by your imagination. So, the next question becomes, how do we do it? And on the next couple slides, I'm going to share just a couple of great resources to help you manage a D&D campaign and use it in your classroom. So first, I'm going to play a short clip for you here.
You love Dungeons & Dragons, the best way to hang with your friends and get your face out of a screen. Now, experience the ultimate way to play by hanging out with your friends, with your face in a screen. You mean I can finally play D&D from...
So, one great tool that has come out in recent years for adventurers is what I just showed you. It's called D&D Beyond. It's an online resource that can be accessed from any device and can help you collect all of your campaign's data in one place. You can collect all of your character sheets together for the players in your group, as well as it also provides tons of tools for creating incredible stories together, whether it be tools to help you create the encounters that your players will come across, or even forums where you can discuss different campaign ideas with other people. There's all sorts of great tools on there, and with the recent pandemic, they've added even more tools to make the D&D experience as accessible as possible, even in a virtual setting. The Quarantine Tools page on their website has tons of helpful ways to get your adventuring party connected and rolling along. At the link at the bottom of the page here, dndbeyond.com/quarantine, can get you to all sorts of useful tools that you can access to help make it so students can, even from home on their computers, access the D&D campaign that you use within your classroom setting. And it's just a great way to manage everything all in one place. So the next source I want to share with you is teachingwithdnd.com. Now, this is a quote from one of the creators of Teaching with D&D, and it says, "It's a role-playing classic that inspires world building around your content areas and allows the students to interact within the text itself." This is a great resource here at teachingwithdnd.com that you can utilize for anyone who's looking to utilize D&D within the classroom setting. For the past few years, this group has been trying to bring together teachers and resources from all over in order to share in this new trend. There are resources on their website for connecting with other teachers, so you can talk about how they implement D&D in their classrooms. There's also D&D lesson plans, scholarly resources about the benefits of D&D, as well as videos on the topic, and they even have characters that you can incorporate into your adventures. So for anyone who's thinking of using D&D in the classroom, teachingwithdnd.com is just a great way to connect you to resources that can help you figure out how to implement it within your classroom. Really, when it comes down to it, playing equals learning. This quote here states, "Giving kids a chance to pursue something just for the love of it inevitably means that they will learn some real-world skills." Studies have shown that playing is a great way to learn. When it's a game, the problem solving is more accessible because it has an end goal that matters more to the child than simply filling out a worksheet. When playing a game, kids are more likely to work hard than they would be at something like traditional homework. By incorporating lesson material into the immersive worlds that are created by D&D, we can get students engaged, promote learning, and help develop many other useful life skills all at the same time. This is my references page here, just a few links so you can get to some of the things that I use, and especially check out, if you have time, dndbeyond.com and Teaching with Dungeons & Dragons. If you're considering using this in your classroom, those are going to be some great tools just to help you along with that. So thank you for viewing my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed.